The sun rose over the sparkling blue sea, stretching its warm fingers across a sleepy tropical island. And in the very heart of that island, on a hill soft with moss, lived a volcano. But this was no ordinary volcano. This was Vinny. And Vinny was feeling a very familiar, very fizzy feeling deep in his belly. It wasn't a bad feeling, not really. It was a rumbling, bubbly, full-to-the-brim kind of feeling. It was the feeling that meant Vinny was getting ready to erupt. But instead of feeling proud and powerful, Vinny felt a little sigh escape from his top. You see, Vinny didn't want to erupt like all the other volcanoes. He didn't want to send hot, scary, black and red lava rushing down his sides. That just wasn't him. Vinny was a friendly volcano. He wanted to erupt with something wonderful, something beautiful, something that would make the other island creatures look up and smile instead of run away. He wanted to erupt with a shower of warm, sparkling, colorful glitter. But a glitter eruption needed special ingredients. It needed color. Not just any colors, but the three most beautiful colors on the whole island. He needed a red as bright as a happy feeling, a gold as shiny as the sun itself, and a green as deep and peaceful as the jungle leaves. And so, with a determined little grumble, Vinny decided he would find them. He would redefine what it meant to be a volcano. The first color he thought of was red. But where could he find the perfect happy red? Not the angry red of fire, but a joyful, cheerful red. Vinny looked down his slope and saw a patch of bright flowers nodding in the breeze. They were a pretty pink, but not quite the red he dreamed of. He looked further, to where a ladybug landed on a leaf. Its spots were a good red, but they were so very small. Then he had an idea. He remembered a tree that grew on the sunny side of the island. A tree that was always surrounded by the most delightful chattering and chirping. Vinny took a deep, rumbling breath and began to move. Now, volcanoes don't move quickly. They move slowly and surely, their big, rocky feet taking gentle, earth-shaking steps. Thump, rumble, thump. Through the ferns he went, his dark stone feet brushing against the soft, damp earth. He passed a waterfall that sang a misty song, and a family of turtles who simply pulled their heads into their shells and waited for the gentle shaking to pass. Where was Vinny going, do you think? What could be so wonderfully red? Then he saw it. Up ahead, in a tree with wide, waxy leaves, was a flock of magnificent parrots. They were preening their feathers, which were every color imaginable. But one parrot, the largest and most splendid of them all, had a chest of the most incredible, vibrant, perfect red. It was the red of a juicy, ripe strawberry, a happy, exciting red that seemed to glow from within. The parrot saw Vinny looking and tilted its head. It wasn't afraid of the friendly volcano. It knew Vinny was a gentle soul. Vinny let out a soft, hopeful puff of steam. The parrot seemed to understand. It leaned forward and, with a gentle shake, let a single, long, brilliantly red feather drift from its wing. It spiraled down through the air, turning over and over until it landed right on the tip of Vinny's nose. Vinny's whole body fizzed with a quiet joy. He had his first color. Carefully, he lowered his head and let the feather slide down into his belly, where it landed with a soft, fizzy plink. The rumbling inside grew a little warmer, a little more sparkly. But a glitter eruption needs more than one color. Next, Vinny needed gold. Not a dull, dusty gold, but a shining, brilliant, spectacular gold. What on the island could be that perfectly golden? He thought of the sandy beach, but that sand was a soft, pale yellow. He thought of a lemony yellow butterfly, but its wings were too delicate. Then he looked up. High above, the sun was shining through the palm leaves, dappling the ground with light. And that gave Vinny his next idea. He turned his great rocky body and began to walk towards the eastern shore of the island, where the sea met the sand. Thump! Rumble! Thump! He walked past a sleepy sloth hanging upside down, who blinked its slow eyes at him. He walked through a shallow stream, the cool water feeling lovely on his warm stone feet. He was getting closer to the ocean now. He could hear the crash of the waves and smell the salty air. But would he find his gold here? He reached the edge of the jungle, where the trees parted to reveal a wide, white sand beach. And there, right at the water's edge, was the most amazing sight. A great, smooth stone, wet from the waves, was sitting half in and half out of the water. And on this stone, the sunlight was doing something magical. The sunbeam hit the wet, dark surface of the rock and reflected back a light so bright and so pure it looked like a liquid star. It was a pool of shimmering, dancing liquid gold. It was the most spectacular gold Vinny had ever seen. It was the gold of 1,000 sunbeams all gathered together for a party. Vinny knew just what to do. He took another deep breath, but this time he breathed in. He breathed in that glittering golden sunlight. He sucked in the warm, shiny air right from above that magical stone. He filled his chest with it, and he could feel the golden light mixing with the red feather inside him, creating a warm, swirling, fizzy feeling. The rumbling in his tummy became a happy, sparkling giggle. He had his second color. Now for the last one. The color of peace and growing things. The color green. Now the whole island was green. It was all around him, but Vinny needed a special green. A green that held the very essence of the jungle. A green that was deep and ancient and full of life. He didn't have to go far. He turned back towards the heart of the island, his steps a little lighter now, a little more bubbly. Bumpity rumble. Fizz thump. He walked into the deepest, coolest part of the jungle, where the air was thick and sweet with the smell of flowers and rich earth. Giant leaves as big as umbrellas brushed against his sides. Vines hung down like green curtains. But which green was the right one? The bright, almost yellow green of a new sprout? The silvery green of a mossy log? Then he saw it. In a quiet clearing where a single beam of sunlight broke through the canopy, grew the oldest, wisest tree on the whole island. Its trunk was wide and strong, and its leaves were not just one green, but 1,000 different greens, all layered together. They were the deep, dark green of a hidden pond, the bright green of a lively frog, and the soft, velvety green of the moss that grew on its north side. This was the green, the master of all greens. Vinny approached the tree slowly, respectfully. He knew this tree was the guardian of the island. He let out a soft, steaming sigh, a sigh that said, "I only need a little bit, just enough for my dream." The old tree seemed to listen. The air was still. Not a single leaf moved. And then, one perfect, magnificent leaf, larger than Vinny's hand and colored the most perfect, deep, peaceful green, simply let go of its branch. It didn't fall, it floated. It danced on a silent breeze, twirling and spinning, until it landed gently, right between Vinny's eyes. It was cool and smooth and smelled like rain and life. Carefully, Vinny tilted his head forward and let the magical green leaf slide down his rocky nose, tumble down his slope, and join the red feather and the golden light deep inside him. And that's when it happened. The fizzy feeling became a fizzing sensation. The rumbling became a joyful rising vibration. The three colors swirled together inside him, the happy red, the spectacular gold, the peaceful green, and they began to change. They began to sparkle. They began to glow. Vinny knew it was time. He walked back to his favorite spot on the central hill, his body trembling not with fear, but with excitement. He took his place just as the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The island creatures, curious about all the rumbling and fizzing, peeked out from their homes. The parrots watched from their trees. The turtles slowly turned their heads. The sloth even opened one eye a little wider. They all watched Vinny. Was he going to erupt his scary hot lava after all? Vinny took one last deep breath. He closed his rocky eyes. And then he let it all go. But it wasn't fire. It wasn't smoke. It wasn't scary black rock. It was a shower of pure, warm, sparkling magic. From Vinny's top erupted a fountain of the most beautiful glitter anyone had ever seen. Glitter the color of a happy red parrot feather, swirling with glitter the color of liquid sunlight, and glitter the deep, peaceful green of the ancient jungle. It didn't fall like ash. It floated down like a soft, warm, sparkling snow. It landed on the leaves, making them shimmer. It landed on the shells of the turtles, giving them beautiful speckles. It landed on the fur of the sloth, who for the first time in a very long time, gave a slow, sparkling smile. The island was transformed into a place of glittering wonder. And Vinny, now feeling quiet and calm and very, very happy, looked out at what he had done. He hadn't been scary. He had been spectacular. He had redefined himself. He had shown everyone that you don't have to be what everyone expects you to be. You can be exactly who you want to be. The glitter settled, and the moon rose, making the whole island glow with a soft, magical light. The creatures didn't go to sleep right away. They sat in the quiet, enjoying the beautiful, sparkly world. And as Vinny settled down for a well-deserved rest, he gave one last contented, fizzy little rumble. He wondered what other surprises he might have inside him. Maybe next time, he could find a way to erupt with soft, rainbow bubbles that floated all the way to the stars. Moral: you can redefine yourself. You don't have to be what others expect, and your unique dreams are what make you special.